Good evening, friends. And today is a very important day because almost each and every Indian was in front of the television sets or mobile phone, watching the five state election results. And what is very interesting, friends, is that in West Bengal, BJP historically is set to take power in West Bengal, ending 15 years of TMC rule. And this is a huge historical milestone, isn't it? And it is very very critical for national security of India as well.
Yeah, Jaydev, is that a question for me?
Yeah. I mean, just
Okay.
if you could
Uh,
pass your comments and analysis of the same.
yeah. Firstly, good evening. Thank you for inviting me for your show. As a matter of principle, overriding principle, being a soldier, we are debarred from, prohibited from committing anything political in nature. But since you have brought in the angle regarding national security, I'll definitely comment. I think it is not. I think I'm more than convinced that this change was definitely warranted. It was in place. It is come in place. Very deserving, and one required a kind of a nationalistic power. I don't mean to say that TMC was not nationalistic. I don't have any moral right to comment on any of the political parties. But despite that, being a citizen, since the security angle is coming, I must call it out that TMC had started operating in a manner during my past visits to West Bengal. I have traveled. The best informers are the taxi drivers, okay, the Uber drivers. When I got talking to them, I mean, they had raised their hands. He said, "Ki it is something like another Pakistan which has been created." So I should not talk like this, but then this is the reality. I'm glad that this changeover is taking place, and we must repose faith in the incoming the dispensation to bring about some rule of law in West Bengal, because the rule of law had suddenly disappeared in this state for past so many years. So, and by saying that, I am not pointing a finger at anyone. This is purely a personal angle, because the security paradigm has been brought in by you in the question. When you talk about the security paradigm, West Bengal today has become a kind of a safe sanctuary. Again, I'm a sincere apology. I hope I'm wrong. People should go all out to prove me that I am wrong. What I am. It has become a self sanctuary of forces which are inimical to the rule of law of a state. It has got all kinds of militant organizations, the terror organizations. It has got the different kinds of conduit. It has got signatures of ISI and ISIS collaborating with each other. It is very close to the Siliguri corridor. Siliguri corridor is being actually strangulated from all sides. So unless we have some kind of a force which can address all kinds of anxieties and the national security imperatives in a holistic manner, make this corridor, which is the lifeline of seven sisters of our country, safe and secure. I don't think any citizen of the country should feel comfortable. Therefore, this changeover which is taking place, I hope the results are final, is definitely a welcome development, and West Bengal is going to bring about a new era of development, and it is going to be a golden era with regard to the modernization, the way of life, the living style, the culture, and the connectivity, infrastructure development. It is a very sad commentary when you go back. Do you remember that Nano had actually set its foot first location there in West Bengal? It wanted to close to Durgapur. It wanted to establish the industry. Here is some industry of Tatas who would say no to Tata, and they had to wind up. They had to go to where? Gujarat. Gujarat was providing land without any taxation, all kinds of benefits, ease of doing business. I mean, industry shifting from one state to another state, wasn't that a wake up call enough to actually have taken some kind of a preventive measure for the sake of economic development? If there is no economic development, then what development are you going to do in a state like West Bengal? West Bengal was the epicenter of the growth of India. Even if you talk about the British India, undivided India, British India Empire, they started their entire heritage of the colonial oppressive rule over India from Kolkata. And even if you look behind the timeline of British India Empire, they also set course from Kolkata. That is where the East India Company actually started its roots, and thereafter expanded, and thereafter started governing the country. So Kolkata is actually the epicenter of democracy, epicenter of development, epicenter of cerebral acumen, epicenter of liberal thoughts, epicenter of progressive, forward-looking ideas of a country. The country is aspiring to become a global power by 2047 or earlier than that, with a per capita income jumping from currently it is $3,000. We are hoping that it should cross 14,000 and be close to $20,000 by 2047, with an economy GDP running up to something close to $30 trillion. If Kolkata runs it, if it jumps, the entire country is going to jumpstart. And along with that, you have also broken the news that Pondicherry and Assam also, this is definitely a golden moment and the golden era for the political stability. Like in my book, which I am just writing, India Vision 2047, my central point is unless there is political stability, there cannot be any economic growth. Unless there is economic growth, there cannot be any research and development or modernization of science and technology. Unless there is science and technology, also I can put a caveat, education system. All these paradigms, actually, if you see, and there is a huge connect with West Bengal. So therefore, I think it is going to bring about, usher in a new era, a golden era of growth, prosperity, and positive development in the country. And I personally feel that changeover in the government or the new government in Bangladesh having come in, and the nationalistic force, political dispensation taking over West Bengal is going to augur well and bring about very positive changes in the security imperative and paradigm, not only on the land estate, but also the Bay of Bengal, which has become witnessing a strategic rivalry as of now. That is it.
Yeah, and also, sir, what is quite interesting is that with regards to the lot of illegal Bangladeshi immigrants, given voter card and Aadhaar card, and they became the voter base of West Bengal, and it's only after SIR that so many voters were taken out of the electoral rolls, which were a huge voter base for this particular party. So all these things also happened, isn't it?
Absolutely, this is a remarkable milestone as far as the government of India is concerned. The central government has done a remarkable job, and the election commission has actually stood up. It has put the best foot forward, and in fact, why only the SIR you're talking of today? The entire nation is feeling the absence of the maids who belong to West Bengal. They are absent from Jaipur. We have no maids. Delhi, there are no maids. People are praying like hell that the election should get over as early as possible. They must get back. But many of them, why am I bringing out this point is, all of them, they will have some kind of card of identity from Kuch Bihar or surrounding areas. But most of them, they have the lineage, the roots are from Bangladesh. That is where I think the SIR has done a great job, and the SIR is the special investigation report. Like it has brought about a tremendous amount of reconciliation of the data sheet, and brought about changes, and duplication, triplication of names has been identified correctly, and they have been removed. This must be done subjected to repeated exercises. It is not only one SIR is over, done. No, it has to be done every 2 to 5 years. Once in 5 years, it must be done. It must be repeated, because the phenomena of infiltration or illegal migration from Bangladesh will continue. It will not stop. It's like a proxy war from Pakistan. Proxy war from will be continue to be sponsored by Pakistan across the border. They will keep playing merry hell in Jammu and Kashmir and in the hinterland in different forms of terrorism. It is not by the terrorist attack like the one which we had in Pahalgam or earlier than that in Pathankot or say Bombay and Taj Hotel. It will assume a different kind of a profile, different kind of a intensity and enormity, and different form of technicality. So we need to be absolutely worldly wise and keep our eyes and ears open and remain alert, so that the process of vigilance, remaining vigilant, is not expected from only one source or one apparatus which is supposed to be authorized to do the job. It is the security is such a subject, it is supposed to be the responsibility of one and all, including all citizens of the country. So therefore, towards that end, this is a very significant step that is taking place, and I'm glad and I'm very happy that the government of India is taking very, very serious and substantive steps to eradicate the fault lines in the existing administrative measures and the procedures of the election commission. That's a remarkable step that has been taken, and it must be continued in full vigor with full authority and enthusiasm.
Yeah, and also very interestingly, now you don't have any communist party in India who is ruling in any state, because in Kerala, communist party lost, and now in West Bengal as well. So
You are making a military man talk about the politics. Well,
yeah,
that is a departure. I do agree, because the LDF in Kerala is out, West Bengal leftist is out, Tripura, I don't think, Tripura also it is out. In 2011, the leftist parties were there. They did not come to power. They were there in Tripura, they were there in West Bengal, they were there in Kerala, and but they did not come to the power. This time, you are right. They have ceased to have any footprint, meaningful footprint. So therefore, it's a welcome development. But then we need to remain very wary, very wary, because there are forces which are inimical to national interest. They will continue to impede our growth, and particularly the United Front Works Department of China. It is UFWA, which came into existence in 1920s, 22 or 23, during Mao Zedong's time, and it got revived post abrogation of Article 370 and 35 Alpha. There is a beyond expected levels of budgeting which is taking funding which is taking place. Their job is to penetrate into the way of life and to the cerebral space of the influencers. Influencers could be anybody, it could be you, it could be me, anyone, okay, by different methods, whom people listen, and they get motivated, they get swayed. Maybe a wrong thing, but they get swayed. So they have managed to penetrate such people. It's something like I was getting alarmed when I read in the open source that people are objecting to the Andaman Nicobar Island, that economic hub, which the government with great difficulty has got approved. When I was a youngster without such meaningful understanding of all these issues, way back I had put in just about 12 years of service or so, I had started making noise that India must fan out. We must go beyond Malacca Strait, not stop at Andaman. In Andaman, the Andaman command had not come up actually till then. Way back in 95, 93, I used to talk as a young major. So why people are so skeptical about the developmental activity? Don't they know that we don't have ships? 95% of dependency on the vessels, because 90 to 95% of our export is on the by the maritime routes, and therefore they have to be transported by ships and vessels. India does not have so many. We have got thousand, and the rate at which they are being depleted, they are actually being downgraded. Okay, they are becoming, they're aging very fast, slowly and gradually. So unless we actually put in our money at a suitable place which is going to multiply and integrate our export into the global chain, we'll be behind the race. You cannot become a global power. So it's a very correct idea. The strategic location of Andaman is absolutely spot on. Sorry, I didn't mean to digress, but the point that you raised about the leftist party, again, I don't have the mandate and authority to comment on politics, but I would say that yes, this departure is to be seen with lots of suspicion, because for us it may be something to celebrate, but for others who do not want India to progress and gallop at the speed at which we envisage, for them this may not be a welcome development. So they may be laying a trap by different devious means and creating such potholes and pitfalls that we may have setbacks. So therefore we need to remain very, very alert at a very nuanced kind of developments taking place with regard to the political dispensation.
Yeah, and also the fact that the U.S. Iran war is not reaching anywhere, isn't it? Because we have to look for our own oil, energy sources if it's possible.
Yeah, you see, the latest, I was in a international channel a few minutes back with, I think Mr. Keith Vance is a member of the House of Lords. He was a minister of UK at one point in time. And what emerged in that discussion was that the tit for tat is going on. US Donald Trump, back to his usual technique, the how many 14-point proposals have been put forward by Iran. This is the latest. So going by the sequence, first USA had proposed 15 points. Thereafter, Iran had proposed 10 points. In between, there are many points which are proposed by either side, and they were dismissed. But subsequently, Iran came to three stages: stage one, stage two, stage three. Stage one was to take a guarantee from USA that they will not attack Iran ever. And if any other party attacks Iran, they will come to their protection. This is what I have understood. Okay, they will support Iran in fight against such kind of aggression. Number two, Strait of Hormuz was the next stage to be resolved, and number three was about the nuclear enrichment. Now, these 14-point proposals which Iran has proposed, they have kept nuclear enrichment totally out of all these 14 points. They said, let the issue, the complete conflict be over. Let it be resolved and let the conflict come to an end in a period of 30 days. Thereafter, the nuclear enrichment. And uh, what I visualize is that the conflict on land has shifted now to the seas. The bloc, Iran, which had led a blockade, and there is a blockade by the USA, they have made it conditional that unless USA removes the blockade, Iran will not remove. The afternoon news, which was floating around through informal open sources, they're indicative of the fact that both America and Iran have shown signs of agreeing to relaxing the blockade or removing the blockade in a graduated manner. Okay, so if that happens, that should be a kind of a welcome development. But what is happening on ground is Donald Trump, without any restraint, he's up and about threatening Iran that if they don't remove the blockade, he will bomb all the ships and the vessels. So the Iran IRGC advisor to the supreme leader, he has gone to say that if they try that stunt, then USA would be losing all the ships. All ships of USA are going to be destroyed by IRGC. They have got the capability, and they will regret if they continue. So this kind of information, misinformation, malinformation, disinformation, or saber rattling will continue. And my take on the whole issue is that Donald Trump is caught in a bind, and that bind towards one side is restraint. If he restrains, he is doomed, and to the other side of the bind is actually escalation. If he escalates, he is again doomed. Why is doomed? Because escalation entraps him so deeply that he will find it very, very extremely difficult to have a respectable and honorable exit. As of now, there are no exits. There are no exits with dignified, honorable contours and configuration. So maybe he would call it as exit with victory as far as his language is concerned, but it's all strategic defeat as far as the USA is concerned, and therefore within bracket I would say exit with fictional victory. This is simply from our side, but from his side, he will call it as victory. His domestic constituency has started actually nitpicking the issues, started questioning him in the Senate briefing, and in that, Pete Hegseth also, Donald Trump, they have been questioned about the mental balance, whether they have or not. Something like a supreme commander giving orders for mobilization of the resources left, right, and center, and bombing people here, there, without any objective, without any strategy, is actually going to prove that this man is without mental balance. So, is he fit enough to remain as a supreme commander? So, these are the questions which people of America have started asking. So, under these circumstances, ideally speaking, you do well if he goes abruptly, makes a abrupt, sharp U turn and goes back. But is he going to go back? What was his aim? Regime change. Has regime change been achieved? No. Can it be achieved? No. What else can he achieve? Is there a deeper meaning? In between, Marco Rubio came out with a response that their actual objective was actually he was giving out the military objective to decimate and destroy the military hardware, the missile capability, reduce or weaken the proxies, etc., etc., and also prevent them from going nuclear and those kind of things, military objectives. But in the process, military objective is not same as political objective. Political objective is the end of the conflict. How does America leave Middle East with? So is Donald Trump ready with the answer? He is not. So therefore, what is he likely to do? If he is not going to take an abrupt turn, if he takes an abrupt turn, he cannot actually justify his return or revert to his homeland. And he cannot answer the question because the midterm elections are around the corner 6 months from now. As it is, his rating has dropped to 27%. At places you will see 33, but actually it's gone down to 27%. You'll find it very difficult. Similar situation had taken place, if I recall correctly, I think 1969, 1973. President Johnson was, yes, in fact, he was in a quandary like Donald Trump. If he escalated, he was getting into a trap. That's how the Vietnam War continued for 8 to 9 years. Actually, it started off with the advisories going in the mid 50s or early 50s, continued from 65 till 70. Whenever they came back, I think they came back in 79 or so, 75. Those 8, 9 years were horrendous years. And when the troops and the commanders started falling back, they started asking this serious, whoa, why did we go to Vietnam? What was our aim? So, similarly, people out here don't even know what the aim is. So, therefore, I would say that there is a hidden agenda. If at all he's trying to find an answer to this question, what should be his strategy or objective? Perhaps he pushed back China in Venezuela with minimum effort, minimum turbulence. And perhaps he was thinking of pushing back China here because China is to buy 90% of the oil produced by Iran in non dollar currency, that is the yuan. And if you look back in 2024, sometime in June, Saudi Arabia and USA, they had signed an agreement way back in 1973, Brent oil, okay, agreement, Brent, that is petrodollar agreement. As per that came into effect in 75, if I respect my memory, 75, 76. And in 2024, it completed 50 years. It was meant for 50 years. As per that, oil could be purchased by countries purely out of one currency, that is dollar. But consequent to the termination of that agreement, it has not been renewed. And the Crown Prince has gone to the extent of giving indications that countries who are desirous of buying oil in non dollar currency are welcome. Maduro, if you recall, in 2018, he's gone public. He made an announcement, not number of times. He made announcement in Venezuela that anyone wanting to buy Venezuela oil is welcome to buy in non-dollar currency. So it is all about the petrodollar, the hidden aim behind all this, to my mind, because a superpower will continue to remain superpower provided the dollar as an international reserve currency remains dominant. At the peak period, early 50s and 60s, if you look back, in Cold War 1.0, the dollar dominance was close more than 80%, 80, 86%. It came down to 54% during pandemic. Now it is stabilized around, it was 58%, it has gone down again to 57%. So the domain experts, they have been saying time and again that the moment dollar dominance goes down below 50%, that will be a kind of a benchmark which will be irreversible. It cannot bounce back. There is nothing sacrosanct or binding. They're just trying to convey a point. And people maybe were interested to know the international reserve currencies are basically three. One is the US dollar, second is the euro, and third is the yen. But the dollar dominance as on today is 57%, is going down. There are more than 41 countries who are carrying out transactions in non-dollar currency to buy crude oil from not only from Middle East, from elsewhere. So with these kind of dynamics, if the dollar dominance is going down, and look at we India out of $135.7 billion that we spent in procuring crude oil from Russia between say um, 24th of February 2022 till 25th December 2025 or 31st of December 2025. Out of this amount, $75 billion had been paid to Russia in non-dollar currency, in ruble, in rupee. To some extent, I think we have made payment in yuan as well, because that is what is acceptable to Russia. Okay, China buys the oil from Russia purely on yuan. So there is a large percentage. At number of places I have read during my casual reading that the non-dollar currency, particularly yuan, dominance in the world order, not as a reserve, international reserve currency has to have a conversion acceptability in the current account deficit. The yuan does not have a current account deficit open for free trade. The moment, because they are scared. My research indicates that the percentage of yuan in the international marketing today is just about 1.63 or 1.7%, which is just minuscule in comparison with dollar. It will take ages to come up to that level. But at number of places I have been coming across in past at least 50, 60 days, that yuan has gained its ascendancy and its dominance to a level of 20%. If this is true, then it's quite possible because a lot of countries are buying oil in yuan. Without oil, there is no energy security. Without energy, there is nothing, no transportation, no agriculture. And with the oil, you are associated with helium, you are associated with sulfur, your carbon dioxide. Sulfur is such an ingredient. It is required for the industry, for things like copper and nickel, to actually purify copper and nickel. And also sulfur oxide is required for agriculture. My only fear is that in a situation like this, when sulfur quantum is reducing by the day, it shouldn't happen that the industry is going to be impacted adversely. It did happen long time back. In 73 it happened. In 90s it happened. In 2013 or 14 it happened. So if the industry is impacted, then the employment opportunities will reduce. You'll start having the production will come down, the cost factor will go up, the inflation will go to the stage of hyperinflation, export will get drastically impacted. So therefore, in the interest of India as well, we need to take some steps and measures to counter it effectively and make sure this meaningless conflict comes to an end. And I don't think Donald Trump has got any intent. For you and me, we may be calling it as an escalation entrapment. But for him, there may be some premeditated concept and doctrine which he has not come out with. That premeditated doctrine is through your channel, I had disclosed that the clean break is a document, top secret document, which is a bipartisan document which was formulated way back in 96, 97. It talks about the Middle East. It talks about the greater Israel. It talks about no home, no place for Palestinians. Okay, so, and what's to that effect? There are many other issues. Are they actually contesting this particular conflict to bring about a change and ensure that Iran also falls under the paradigm and dominance of greater Israel? So, whether it will happen or not, maybe in incremental manner. My take on the whole issue is that he is not going to make a clean break from Middle East so fast. He'll keep on mellowing down. His force level will remain there. Whenever he's being had from his domestic constituency, when he's coming under pressure, that is the time he will ask Israel to go full hog as far as the kinetic component of attack is concerned against Israel and its proxies. And when things are all hunky dory, things start looking up by midterm elections, and thereafter he will again bounce back, because this time period he will use to consolidate, to reorganize himself, reorganize, rebalance his strategic reserve of interceptors, Tomahawk missiles, Patriot missiles have gone down to such a level they have depleted below an acceptable level. And the manufacturing time of each of these warlike stores cannot cope up with the demands of the conflict regions. The conflict is not only with against Iran. The conflict has been going on between Ukraine and Russia for past 4 years plus. Hamas and Israel for since 2023, 2.5 years now. Okay, and now the Iran one has started off. While the defense industry is benefiting a lot, but there is a lot to actually answer with regard to your question. Is he likely to wind up and go back? I don't see. As per my calculations, I was earlier advising him that it will do good to Donald Trump, to his rating, and to his Republican Party if he goes back. If it is the Epstein file, which is trying to distract people from, well, the conflict in Middle East is going to be cost prohibitive for him from all accounts, because the Iran's philosophy is to raise the cost of winning the war against Iran by USA and Israel. Cost in terms of money, cost in terms of production time, cost in terms of the body bags, because no conflict in 21st century can be completed, or you can call yourself a victorious, only by aerial bombardment. Aerial bombardment has to be supported by ground troops, the boots on ground. And the boots on ground means it will lead to the fatalities. The body bags will mount. The domestic constituency of America are not prepared. They do not have the appetite to accept the body bags. So these are the contradictions, these are the challenges. Despite that, Donald Trump has got some hidden agenda in his mind. I do not visualize him to actually pull back so early. He is going to go in for anything that is going to enable him or facilitate his bringing American oil companies into the Middle East, like the way it has happened. Take your mind towards what do you call the Nord Stream 1 and 2. The Chevron oil company, without our realizing, in past 15 to 20 days, have quietly gone and taken over the oil fields. Okay, Nord Stream 1 and 2. I think it is Nord Stream 1, if I am not wrong. And they have started transacting the selling of oil in dollar, US dollar. Earlier, it used to be done in ruble and it used to be done in yuan. So, similar thing, he may be wanting this thing to happen, and also break the chain of supply of crude oil to China, thereby contain, counter, and contest China effectively before he makes a visit on 14th of May and meets Xi, so that he is on an advantageous position when he carries out negotiations with the the leader of the China.
That was a fantastic session. Thank you, Major General G, for coming. And we'll see you again next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Zaid.
Thank you. Thanks.